everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. I, as always, am Dallas, one of your hosts. Today, I'm repping 52, Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens. Hopefully, my threats have fixed Justin Tucker's juju. So we'll get into the game and how his kicking situation went, but we're going to rep 52. Can't affect his play style with the jersey purchase.
As always, I'm Brendan, 54, Bobby Wagner. That kind of changed the jersey because he doesn't play for the Seahawks anymore.
I mean,
His
you can
team,
buy a Commander's jersey.
I will not be doing that.
Okay.
No offense to the Commanders, but I will not be
Maybe
doing
if they
that.
had better colors. I'm going to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
I think, honestly, I would buy a Redskins jersey.
That's fair.
There's like a couple that I would probably go get, but I don't
Yeah,
know if there's a
no.
Commanders right now. Unless Jaden Daniels becomes really good, but
Yeah, if he turns into, but I still think, I'm telling you, new ownership, I'd change the name and the fucking colors. Fucking Christ. I'm getting used to the name.
yeah.
I can't handle that color scheme though. I can't. Like, we got to pick something else. This weird ass
I don't know.
maroon
I feel like
orange thing happening.
if you change the colors, you kind of have to change the name.
That's fine. We can do
Um,
all of it. Fuck it. I don't fucking care.
um, but yeah,
Alrighty. Well, we have a good show for you guys today. We're gonna talk breaking news. There wasn't a whole ton, but there was some interesting stuff. We're gonna talk obviously both Ravens and Seahawks games, plus mine and Brennan's games of the week. And then I think we're gonna have a fun thought experiment game, but we'll see where the time takes us today.
okay. For breaking news, the only thing that really happened was Daniel Jones was released by the New York Giants. This comes with a $30+ million cap hit to the Giants. That's Daniel Jones' dead money for the next couple of years. Jones has now cleared waivers and is free to sign with any team he likes for whatever amount that the team is willing to pay. Probably nothing more than the league minimum, but
Yeah.
that is up to the team he signs for.
I mean, look, I'm not surprised this happened. Um, he really wanted to play. He wanted to do something, even if it was play scout team safety during practice, just to be on the field. And the team was so afraid of him getting hurt, they just wanted to sit him. So he asked for a release, and they gave it to him.
Yeah, and now he's free
There's,
to sign with any team he wants. There's been some
I,
names.
there's been some names. I think this year's an interesting one because the last 2 years we've seen quarterbacks like really get hurt and go down. And this year, with the exception of JJ McCarthy and Dak,
And now Minshew.
everyone else has been like minor stuff.
Yeah, we haven't had
So
backups haven't been
we'll
as
see.
important this year. I still think
Yeah,
there are teams coming into the playoffs this year that I had a full list of teams that I would imagine at this point would be intrigued. I think with the Chiefs situation, I think they have Carson Wentz as their backup.
Mm.
I think Daniel Jones is better than Carson Wentz currently. I think the Ravens could be an option unless they're really like Johnson.
yeah,
I think the Bills could be an option. I think after the past couple games with Purdy being out, I think the 49ers could look at it. If they think Purdy could be out longer term, I think after Minshew went down, I think the Raiders might take a long look at that one, see what's going
yeah.
on there. And then the Cowboys, obviously, without Dak right now, would be my
I like
ones to watch.
Cowboys, Raiders. Um, there was another team you mentioned I liked. It's gone from my brain now. I saw one. I thought Rams would potentially be an interesting one. They tend to be big on kind of picking up the scraps of the QB market, Sean McVay can do a lot with quarterbacks.
Yep. I didn't even think
For
about the
all of
Rams.
his upside, Stafford, while is a tough son of a bitch, does get hurt, especially with that O line the way it's playing right now. I think that'd be a good spot for Jones. It's McVay's a good guy to learn under, learn from, be coached by.
Yeah.
I've seen the Ravens floated around a little bit. I kind of doubt it.
I
Um,
I doubt it.
just with who's in their quarterback room, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, they've already spent the year working with a rookie quarterback. I don't think they want a second one because for all of Daniel Jones' experience, there are a lot of flaws in his game, and I don't think they're gonna want to deal with that. They have other problems.
Yeah. But it was just a thing of like
Yeah,
teams that I think could be looking at a backup. And he's definitely, I don't want to say a premier backup in the league, but I think he's one of the
I think he's
possible.
he has a lot of experience, and depending on the team, he's gonna have a much better roster than
And
what he had in New York.
we've talked a lot about don't judge a quarterback on a
Yeah,
shitty team he played for.
yeah,
We've seen other New York quarterbacks on the other side of New York have success after leaving the Jets. It's possible he has success after leaving the Giants, but
and
we will
I
see.
mean, Dable got a playoff win out of him, but that team is just it's not good.
And
The O line, his weapons, like Neighbors is pretty much it.
Neighbors is it.
So
And seriously, the way Saquon's playing,
that's the stupidest goddamn. I'm telling you, somebody should get fired. I would have. We're gonna talk more about that game, but I'd have watched that game and fired somebody the next day. Out of Sunday night's game, I'd have watched that and fired somebody
oh,
Monday.
Joe Shane's lucky currently.
Like, I,
He's somehow still has a job.
which is crazy. Um, Especially when it's on video
Yep,
for the world to see of
that's
you straight up telling him, I do not want him to go to the Eagles. I do not want him to go to the Eagles and ball the fuck out. And then guess what? And he's like, oh, I don't think that's gonna happen. No, that'd be weird. Oh hey, isn't that the guy? Yeah, that's him. Isn't that the team? Yep.
but
How
you
do
know,
you explain that? We're stupid.
yeah, no.
Fucking incompetent.
So Giants are a shitty organization currently. So maybe Daniel Jones reinvents his career somewhere else. Or kind of, we'll see. Um,
And it's not I mean, not to
you can make some money as a backup quarterback in
yeah,
the
I
NFL.
is the best job in the NFL. Especially if you can find a place to stay.
Yeah,
If you're maybe a bounce around guy, maybe you don't want to put up with that forever. But if you can find like a home as a backup,
if you can be like, God, who's the backup for Tom Brady for like the 2 Super Bowls? But he was with the team for like 5 years, and he got two
I
Super
don't
Bowls
know.
out of it.
Yeah.
Never had to see the
Like,
field, just kind of sat there.
yeah. It
Boyle,
just
Tim Boyle, Boyle,
was
Tim.
that him?
I think it was. I know he was with
Okay.
the Patriots at some point.
Okay. Like he's been with the Giants just signed Tim Boyle
Oh,
in
oh
lieu
yeah,
of
that's right.
Jones. Um he's married to an Olympic athlete. I don't know her name. I just know he is.
Okay,
So but yeah, like it's not bad money. It's not a bad gig. I get that. Like everybody wants to start. Unfortunately, there are 32 starting positions for quarterback. That's it. That's not. It's not wide receiver where there are 3 to 4 slots a team. There's only one.
yeah,
But you can make some good money. Have your name on a jersey,
and kind of
and
just sit
maybe in
there.
10 years, coach, revive your career. So
Yeah,
it's not out of the question.
you see a bunch of quarterbacks right now. Darnold,
Yeah,
Smith.
Gino,
Um, there's probably Baker.
fucking Baker got like 5 chances. Like
And three of them with a shitty organization, two of
Yeah.
them with a competent one.
So
So we're starting to see it.
it, it's not the worst situation. I think it's better for him. I don't think no, he has not been a good quarterback to this point. I don't know how much of that is him, how much of that is what's around him, but just chill, you know, take some pressure off, work on the fundamentals, and just go somewhere else. Hopefully, somewhere with a confident fucking team.
Yeah.
Like,
Based on
that's
everything we're
not
hearing, also he's
trading
in
away
no,
your best weapon to see if you can play better that way.
and
Just
he
say
also
whatever.
hasn't signed as of recording, but I don't think he'll will anytime soon. Because I think there's something in his current contract that if he plays, it negates money from his guarantees. It's all contract bullshit that I don't know,
Yeah,
but I do know some stuff exists where like if he signs with somebody now and plays and makes money, more than that money gets negated from his current deal. It's some
gotcha.
weird
Yeah,
shit, but
he'll probably spend the next week or two trying out for a couple of teams, if nothing else.
yeah. Or if he
So,
really likes the landing spot, he'll go.
yeah,
But he's in no rush.
you know, you're not gonna start this year anyway,
Not
or
this
not
year.
be named a starter unless someone gets hurt.
I don't know. There's two teams I
So,
think he could be.
Dallas and
San
Las
Francisco.
Vegas.
Oh, Las
Oh,
Vegas too.
yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm like, I
Damn it,
don't know what's going on with
I
Purdy.
keep forgetting Purdy's hurt. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I keep
And
forgetting.
no one seems to know what's wrong with him.
We just know it's a shoulder injury, but no one knows how
Yeah.
he got it or what the fuck it is. Like, it's this really weird situation.
Yeah.
It's the conspiracy theories about San Francisco right now are sky high.
Yeah. So those are about the three teams I could see him actively
Going to
and starting.
starting for. Yeah. No, that's fair.
But we'll see. Um, want to talk
Cool.
Ravens?
Sure. We could do that. We could do the thing. Alrighty. So for Monday Night Football, nope, it was Ravens at Chargers. Ravens did get the W, 30-23. It was also the Harbaugh Bowl, which I think is weird because that was the same name they had for their Super Bowl, and I think you could really only have one Harbaugh Bowl. Look, overall, team played well. I was happy, obviously, with the outcome. This is what I expected. Um, I thought it might have been a little closer, and scoring also a little fewer points is what I anticipated. But overall, good game. Getting into the minutia of it. Offensively, Lamar played well when he settled the fuck down. The first couple drives, obviously, we had more drive killing penalties, which are a game record because I do not know how more loudly I can say this. But the Ravens defense is not the Ravens' problem. If you're confused by that, I implore you to go watch many of our other episodes and many of my pre-game previews. Yes, the pass defense hasn't been great. I recognize that. But the defense is not why they've been losing. It's the offense. It's the O-line. That's the problem. Drive killing penalties have been a problem. That's how the game started. Also saw him forcing the ball to Deontay Johnson. Again. Why? I have no idea. I don't know if we feel bad for the guy. I don't know if he's being a dick. I don't know what's happening. I don't care. Knock it the fuck off. Lamar's deep ball has never been his like a strong suit. And that's okay. He does other things really well. It took him and Bateman years to get the deep ball down. I don't know why he keeps trying to force it to Deontay. Stop it. The only person that walked onto his team that he had a deep ball connection with was OBJ. And just so we're clear, he spent an entire offseason with OBJ. So stop it. Like I said, offensive line penalties continued, but at a significantly lesser rate. We saw, I think it was 4 or 5 total throughout the game on the pre-snap in terms of formation, legal man downfield, all of that. Definitely at a lesser rate. They were able to overcome a lot of things. Small penalties they can overcome. One a drive they can overcome. It's like when 5 happen. Um, and then credit to Harbaugh because on your own 16-yard line to go for it on 4th and 1, I want to be very clear. I do have witness evidence. I said go for it. I was like, fuck it, just do it. You can get the ball back in the second half. If it doesn't go well, it's not great, but do it. And then he went for it. I was like, that's insane. I was rooting for it, but that's insane. Um, so to see Harbaugh just have the faith in his team and in his guys, was really excited to see that. I felt like we're starting to see the aggressive John Harbaugh again. He usually always goes for 2 if it's going to get the win. That's not really a shocker. But the 4th and 1s have been kind of slow to come by this year. So to see them convert 3 of them, that was great. Obviously, always love when Mark Andrews takes the snap. That's fun. It's just a fun time. Defensively, nope. Defensively, I thought they played a really great game. Struggled against the pass a little bit. Definitely down the stretch, that final drive for the Chargers. A lot of PI calls. Here's the thing. One, garbage time touchdowns are a real thing, so I'm not really bothered by the touchdown. That ball hit the 1 yard line. I knew what they were going to do. The Ravens knew what they were going to do. I also knew, and the Ravens also knew. There was no stopping that. That is what Gus Edwards does. That's where he makes his money, and his name is the bus on the 1 yard line. I actually kind of thought it was fun to watch. I was bummed out he wasn't in a Ravens uniform to do it, but I was excited for him. As for the penalties, I had mixed feelings on that. It's like, stop with the penalties, but also don't give up massive catches and then yards after catch. So if you draw the PI, at least you didn't give up the touchdown. But overall, they played really well, especially without Roquan. Malik Harrison started the game in the outside linebacker position, and then in the second half, they moved him to the inside. He played really well. He finished the night with 12 tackles, which was a season high for him. I just thought he played phenomenally. I don't think anyone was really looking at him up until this game. Um, Roquan's always just kind of been the star, and I know Trenton Simpson's his running mate. I think Malik Harrison made a good case to take that job from him. We didn't see Simpson do a whole ton, and for Harrison to get the job done the way he did, I was really impressed with. Um, Defense had 4 sacks on the night. That was great to see. Just bringing that pressure a little bit more. We saw a little bit more on the blitz. The Ravens don't blitz a whole ton, so when they do, it tends to be successful. So I was pretty excited to see that. I think we're definitely seeing Zach Orr's scheme come together a little bit. We're seeing the guys come together a bit. Um, Wiggins, I thought this was Wiggins' best game of the year. We had a Ravens comment. I'm sorry, I don't know the name, asking about Ravens rookies. I was waiting for Wiggins to kind of come alive. I felt like to start the season, he wasn't really impactful, and then he was hurt. So to see him these last 2 weeks take a lot of snaps, be an impactful player on the field. Yes, he drew a penalty, but he had a lot of pass breakups. Just played really great. I was really impressed. Really happy to see him get going. We saw Jalen Armour Davis the most we had all year. They were really rotating the safeties towards the back half of the game, so that was cool. Not a rookie, but just shout out to him. As for special teams, Justin Tucker was not only perfect on kicks, but he also made a tackle, which was great and crazy. I don't know. I know John Harbaugh at the end of that play was like, that was cool. Awesome. Don't ever fucking do that again. Um, I get that that's why the kickoff rule is the way it is, and in theory, the kicker's the last defender. Don't ever do that again. Like, you haven't played great. That doesn't mean we want you hurt. So just settle down. But I was impressed. I did not think he had the capability to do that.
I was
And he grabbed that guy around the shoulders and whipped him out. And I was like, that was crazy. That was crazy.
I at
Uh,
first didn't notice it was Tucker. And then
yeah.
he stood up and I was like, that's a skinny white boy. That has to be Tucker.
Yep.
That there's
Yep.
only one of those on that team. There's only
It's
one of
fair.
them on most NFL teams.
So yeah, I mean, it was crazy, but I was kind of here for it, but straight up don't ever do that again. Uh I had texted you. He did a Craven
Yeah.
commercial that was like the epitome of like it was like because he's doing this really intense training and he's like throwing the ball and he's lifting weights and he's pushing those like linebacker machines and it's like you saw all of that for the commercial come to fruition in this moment. It was nuts. I was like, what the fuck? And it was funny because Van Noy and Rogue One were in the commercial, and they were like, "He's just a fucking kicker." And then at the end of it, he tackles someone, and they're like, "Is he trying to take our job? What's happening here?" And then he did the thing, and I was like, "This was crazy. This was felt a little scripted, but it was really cool, just with the commercial and then the tackle." Um, but yeah, it was an overall, it was a great game. Um, as for rookies, we haven't really seen a whole ton like TJ Tampa, Deontay Hardy. They've primarily played on special teams. Nothing really standing out wise. The O line is where we see the majority of them with three rookies Rosengarten, Makari, and Falele. The penalties have been a struggle. I think when they play well, they do really great in pass protection as well as the run blocking scheme. Henry had plenty of running lanes. Lamar usually does as well. Lamar had upwards of 3.5 to 4 seconds to throw the ball last night, but they have to get on the same page. They cannot have the pre-snap penalties anymore. They also struggle against elite pass rushers. That's been a problem. We talked about that extensively. And then, like I said, Wiggins really came alive. So we'll continue to see how the Ravens rookies develop, but right now those are kind of the main ones we're seeing. Um, I anticipate it staying that way. Adisa Isaac has been a little impactful, but he rotates in and out. Again, Hardy in and out. TJ Tampa was hurt for a good portion of this season, in and out on special teams. Kane and Burrow, special teams, if anything. So the ones that are there, I definitely think are making an impact, and they're getting better. And it's hard. The O line is one. There's a lot of rookies. Their coach passed away during preseason. I'm trying to be patient. I know Lamar's trying to be patient. Stanley has begged Lamar to be patient. It's time. It's time to be what we're going to be. As for players of the game, offense, I'm actually going to go Mark Andrews. I have a different name noted. I'm going to go Mark. The reason I'm going to go Mark Andrews, it was Henry. It was. He had a great game. But Henry just kind of always has a great game. Like, if he gets the ball, it's going to be good. He's the king. I'm happy for him. Mark had really weird situations that he turned into positives. His first catch, Lamar's being bottled up by the O line. Mark had no idea the ball was coming to him, and it was this weird shovel pass forward that he turned into like a 7-yard gain. He had a couple on the sideline as Lamar was being pushed out of the pocket. And then his touchdown catch was fantastic. And he made sure that the ref knew it was a fucking touchdown. I don't know what the first one saw that was like, no. But yeah, I'm gonna go Mark today. Thought he played really well. We're seeing him getting more involved. Obviously, Henry played great. Obviously, Lamar played great. But just for this week, it would have maybe gone to Bateman had he caught that first deep ball. Had he caught that first one, which to be fair, should have been a catch. And Lamar afterwards said he went up to Bateman and was like, "Bro, I expect you to catch that fucking ball." Um, I know the defender was right in his face, but the ball hit him in the chest. Catch that ball. But yeah, I just felt like Mark had a really great day. Really in the unexpected ways. That's kind of what him and Lamar do. Not necessarily the scripted stuff, but Lamar needs help. He finds Mark, and that's what we saw. So great game for him. Defensively, I am going to go Malik Harrison. He really stepped it up and stepped in for Roquan. I'm going to give a tandem actually. I'm also going to say Kyle Hamilton, who wore the green dot this year or this game. It's a first for him, but we're really seeing him step up as a leader. I thought he kept the guys really focused on point. I never saw any serious busted coverage or guys wondering what the fuck is going on at any point. So that was great to see. Um, like I mentioned, obviously Roquan was out this game. I think he'll be back next week. He tried to go this week. He was trying to run. They just wouldn't let him. He wasn't 100%. They have one more game, then the bye, and then the stretch of hell. So it made sense to rest him here. I do get it. But I think he'll be back next week. I also want to talk about J.K. Dobbins, who went out with a knee injury. He was back on the field at the end of the game. I really hope he's okay. And as soon as I get more info, maybe we'll retweet it or something. As a Ravens fan, he was kind of the last person I wanted to see get hurt. He's been through so much that he's having a great year. I want that year to continue for him. So, yeah, if you're a Ravens fan, just hope for his health.
I watched most of this game. Had Manny cast on, which all they talked about was the Hardball Bowl.
Yeah, I believe that.
Um, so that was something, I guess. Um, it seemed like a good game for most of it. Um, I do think the game was a little less close than the score suggests.
Yeah.
Um, kind of felt like the Chargers weren't dominated, but were never like in it in that second half. First half, I thought the Chargers played really well. And then Lamar got going, and that
Yeah.
team got going, and it just seemed like it snowballed from there for the Chargers. Um, so I will say, like, I thought the Ravens played well. I did think the Chargers overall played all right. I still think the Chargers are a good team in the AFC, but I do still think they have a long way to go to be like one of the top teams in the AFC. But they're getting there, and obviously the Ravens are the Ravens.
I I have a couple. One, I definitely think the Chargers are on their way. They just need a couple more pieces. Like they have a
Yeah,
great
that's
coach, they have a great quarterback. Like they're so close. And there's clearly drive and intention there. I think sometimes when you look at teams rebuilding, they're like, "Oh, we know we're going to kind of suck." They want it. They bring the physicality, they bring the energy and the effort. It was I expected it closer because the Chargers have been like the number 1 red zone defense, and we saw the best offense and the best defense when it was Broncos Seahawks. So I expected something a little more competitive throughout the whole game, and that is not what happened. Yeah, it started close again, chunk time or garbage time touchdowns only mean so much. It ended up not being close at all, despite what the score says.
yeah.
So I was I was a little shocked. I thought with their defense it would be a little closer. Um,
I think I'm shocked. Just like 30-23 was a little more high scoring than I thought it was gonna be.
yeah,
I kind of thought the defenses, based on the Ravens' last game, and then just how the Chargers have been playing this year, I kind of thought the defense will step up a bit more and it would be a little less scoring, but they still have really good offenses, so offenses really won the day for both teams, I feel like.
My projection, I had to go back and look at it. My score projection was 28-20.
Um, I
So,
don't remember what mine was for the Seahawks game.
and then my final thing, I'm really frustrated that I have this take that nobody else seems to have, but I'm like 100% sure I'm right. And it's that the O line is the problem. Because all day it's been, why can the Ravens look like this when they win, but when they lose, I'm like, it's the fucking pass rush. It's not the defense. It's the Ravens O line. How is nobody else getting this? What is confusing you people? So I'm very frustrated
Well,
that I have this take that. So we need to clip this portion out and I'm gonna blast it on the internet so that other people get it. That pass defense, a problem, not the main problem. That would be the O line.
okay.
Okay.
Join the club. Join the club.
On that note, Brendan, would you like to talk to us about Seahawks versus Cardinals?
Yeah. Seahawks get the win 16-6 at home against the Cardinals. They got the win. They are now first place in the division. That's all that matters. Okay. All that matters. I believe my score prediction for the game was 20-14.
Okay.
Wildly less. But it's fine. Um, we'll talk about the offense because they played probably the worst of the two. Not probably, they did. Um, the offense has just been in a funk. Uh, I have thoughts on that. I don't get to it. But it's just there's some things with this offense that I just think they can't exceed where I want them to be and where they should be for the talent they have. Um, so on the good side, JSN had a touchdown. It was a pretty solid drive altogether from the offense. Capped off with a 2-yard touchdown pass, really easy goal line. Looked good. The drive was good. Without Kenneth Walker at the end there, he kind of got banged up on the way down, but he did end up, or they did end up punching it without him, so that's good. That's about the only good thing about the offense this week. That was the only touchdown they scored. They did put up another field goal. So 10 points, guys. Way to go. The reasons I kind of think the offense has been in a funk. Reason number one, Geno Smith was sacked 5 times. Sacked 5 times against the 30th team in pass rush. This offensive line sucks. They've sucked all year. They will suck till the end of the year. And what's sad is I've seen improvements. Lucas has been better at right tackle than anyone we've played. And then Olutimi, the center, has been better than the center was prior. It's really been the left guard, right guard, and the left tackle's been fine. He's actually probably been the best offensive lineman the whole year. So I'm not really worried about him. But it's been the left guard, right guard have just been god awful. We'll talk more about the right guard situation because Anthony Bradford, the starter, ended up getting hurt in this game, and rookie Christian Haynes came in to replace him and definitely struggled. But it's par for the course with that position currently, so whatever.
The position's cursed. Yeah.
The offensive line's cursed. I don't know what to tell you. That's what happens when you trade your best offensive lineman for a tight end one year and Now it's just go fuck yourself. Um, the issue I had, so he was sacked 5 times, which is not the most he's been sacked in a game this season. But a lot of those sacks were on third down. Pushed him out of field goal range a couple times. None of those were really Geno's fault. Um, he didn't really have anything he could do. But still, that kind of cost the team some points, forced some punts, caused some issues. The offensive line continues to be a problem in the run game. It's just been the main problem with the offense, much like the Ravens. Hence, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Um,
At least the world knows your O-line's the problem.
that. But Geno had his one interception that's guaranteed in every game he plays. He has 12 on the season. We've played 11 games. The math adds up. And what I've decided, okay, is Geno is a good quarterback. And he'd be a great quarterback if there was like 2 moments every game that he just decided not to throw the ball. If he was just like, nah. Because that's been the issue. Is it's like he has a good game. And then he'll make a decision to throw it. And you're like, shit. Because he throws an interception. And you just have to sit there and go, well, you shouldn't have done that. But you did it. So now we gotta live with it. So that's my feeling. Is I think he'd be top 10 in the league if he would just not.
That's fair. That's fair.
But, we live with that. He's been great otherwise. Had a really efficient game. Was like 70% completion rate, touchdown. Was pretty efficient other than that one interception that happened in the red zone because it seems to be the only time he throws interceptions. That I also don't know what's going on. Part of me is like, I think he's trying to force it, knowing that the offensive line sucks, which I understand. But I'm like, come on, man, just stop.
I had a comment on that actually during the game. He threw it, and someone next to me went, "What the hell?" And I was like, "It seems like late in games or later in games, Geno starts to panic for really no reason and then forces the ball. And it always leads to at least one."
Yeah. And I know it's the offensive line. But he's got to just not. I can't say it any other way other than just not.
Just stop it. Just stop.
Because otherwise, he's been playing great. Like, given the situation of you have no offensive line, you can't run the ball. The Seahawks have been fine on offense, getting points. I do have questions about our coordinator now. I'm not in the camp of let's can him. I do think, new coordinator, new to the NFL, has never worked with McDonald. There are things there, but I'm starting to get annoyed that Grubb hasn't been making changes from his offense in college. Because I feel like that's what we're still seeing, is we're still seeing a college offense, which doesn't work in the NFL. You can't throw the ball this much. I remember one of the last drives of the game, Seattle just needs to burn clock, and they come out and throw it like on the first 2 plays for no reason. Just hand the ball off. Give it to Walker. You have a great running back. You have probably a top 10 running back. Just give it to him and see what he does. Keep the clock moving. Keep it going. So I just have questions about Grubb. I'm not in the camp of firing him yet, because I do think, first season in the NFL, first season as a NFL coordinator, I do think he can get there. I would just like to start seeing more progression towards getting there at this point. But they're still getting the job done. I do still like some of what he's been bringing to the Seahawks offense. He's definitely better than Shane Waldron ever was. But I do have questions for Ryan Grubb and for that offense. But thankfully, the offense only had to put up 10 points to win the game. Well, 16, but the offense itself only had to put up 10 points to win the game. So, on to the defense. The defense played that game and was out of their mind. They played probably their best game of football yet. And I feel like I've said that the last 3 weeks. But I think that's just a testament to how good they've been the last 3 weeks. They keep getting better. They had 5 sacks on Kyler Murray, one of the hardest quarterbacks to sack in the NFL. I'd put him up there with Lamar, with Allen, with those guys for their rushing ability. And the Seahawks got to him 5 times. Huge game for the Seahawks in terms of getting to the quarterback, pressuring him, making him uncomfortable, limiting Kyler Murray's ability to get that offense going. And we did kind of see that with the Kobe Bryant pick 6. That is where 6 of those points come from. They get the pick 6 from Kobe Bryant. That was all created by Devon Witherspoon pressuring Kyler Murray, forcing him into a bad throw, which Spoon played such a great game and was playing so well that game. Forced the high throw on 4th down for the pick 6. Prior to that, on 4th down, he had forced an incompletion that would have turned the ball over anyway, but McDonald called the timeout. They had to redo it. Ended up getting a pick 6 out of it. Probably the best timeout McDonald's ever called, but that's beside the point. He played really well, kind of created the pick 6, then blocked for the pick 6 to get it to the end zone, was called for unsportsmanlike conduct for taunting, and they ended up missing the PAT because of that, hence the 16-6 score rather than a 17-6 score. That's where that 1 point comes from. But yeah. And then another guy who I thought had a fantastic game was Leonard Williams. He could not be blocked. He had 2.5 sacks, 3 TFLs, numerous pressures. He was just all over the field. He was limiting Murray, limiting Connor. I mean, he was just having a dominant performance on the D-line, and it really showed with how Arizona played. Arizona only had 49 yards rushing in the game. You heard me right. That's less than 50 yards rushing for a team that's been rock steady as a team rushing. Like, I'm talking about like a fantastic rushing team. You really held them in check, which is great to see. That run defense is finally figuring it out, which I've been waiting for like 3 years now. So we're finally there. The only Arizona Cardinal that actually played well on offense was Trey McBride. He was causing a lot of troubles. He's a great tight end. Shout out to him. Had a great game, but not enough for them to win. And then, just to shout myself out, I said this key to Seattle's wins in my preview video was to limit Murray and limit Murray's legs and protect Geno. They did not protect Geno well. They still got the win, but they did absolutely limit Murray's legs. He was a non-factor on the ground. Had like 2 rushes for less than 10 yards. Huge game for the defense. As I said, probably their best performance yet. Held that high-flying Cardinals offense to 6 points, and we're the first team this year to not allow the Cardinals to score when the Cardinals had a goal to go. And by that I mean score a touchdown. They did end up kicking a field goal, but the Cardinals up to this point were 100% when they had the ball, goal to go. The Seahawks are the first team to not allow them to score a touchdown, goal to go, and I think they're the first team to not allow the Cardinals to score a touchdown. Period. So again,
I think so.
great game from the defense. Could not be happier with that. On to my game balls. I'm gonna give out one on offense. That's going to JSN. Had just a really consistent game. No one on that offense really like stood out. But JSN 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Just a really solid game. He's kind of really stepped up. And honestly, I would almost consider him Seattle's #1 wide receiver, even ahead of DK. And just in terms of volume, DK I think is still Seahawks' best receiver, but I think JSN's the most consistent and the most open, like all the time. Really taking over for Lockett in that sense. And then on defense, I'm just going to give one to everybody on defense. You held them to 6 points. Spoon played great. Kobe had the pick six that really like won the game in a way. So overall, everybody gets one. But if I had to pick one person, I'd definitely give it to Leonard Williams. 2.5 sacks, 3 TFLs, 4 quarterback hits. Just was all over the field and was creating havoc in the backfield. I mean, just an incredible game all around from the defense. So, good job. Let's keep it going. And then,
Yeah.
On the injury front, as I said earlier, Bradford left the game with an ankle injury. This could be a long-term thing. That's what it kind of sounds like. It sounds like a high ankle sprain, which for an offensive lineman tends to be a longer injury, and the severity seemed to be not so great as he was carted off and was wearing a boot for the rest of the game. So he might not be back for a while. So we're going to see a long look at 2 rookies that could possibly be starting at the right tackle position in Satawa Lamea and Christian Haynes. So that's something to look out for. I'll probably end up talking more about that in my preview video this coming week. But that really does it for the Seahawks. Like, great win. They're sitting top of the division. Kind of needed this one. The Seahawks will see the Cardinals again in 2 weeks. So not this week, the next week. So, let's sweep.
Heck yeah. No, I mean so this is kind of about you, but it's more about me. I felt extremely vindicated this weekend. I felt like the Ravens were vindicated. Because everyone's like, oh my god, the Ravens lost to the Browns and the Steelers. So clearly Lamar Jackson's an asshole and shouldn't play quarterback. But then this weekend was like all about division games not going how people thought they were going to go. And yours was kind of, I wouldn't say the epitome of that. There was a different one that I'm sure we're going to discuss. But this was pretty close. The Cardinals' offense has been really dynamic, high scoring. That's what division games are, though. They're physical. You know each other really well. It's hard to predict, and so for 16-6, like, okay, no, that's not awesome, but it's good that the Seahawks got the win, and it's not really shocking. Like, that's what division games are. Like, they're hard fought. That's the point.
Yeah.
So,
The Seahawks
I thought it was a good game. Like, I know you guys clearly have stuff you're working on, but
I will also say, at
I
no
think you're
point,
seeing them get better.
and at no point did I think the Seahawks were going to lose this game.
And
Like,
that is important.
Like, they were in control, I feel like, the whole game. The Cardinals' offense couldn't do anything. The Seahawks' offense was at least alive in some way.
Yeah. And that's what matters. Like, It's seeing things that can be built on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a good game. It was a division game. Yeah, I felt very vindicated this weekend. I was like, "See, division games are fucking hard, people. Thank you."
Yeah.
Cardinals have a great offense. Put 6 points on the fucking board. It's not because the Cardinals suck, just so we're clear. So, but yeah,
Well,
good game. Good
depends on
game.
who you ask, but
I think Marvin has been a disappointment
yeah. I,
so far.
I think he'll get there. I think it's been a rough rookie year.
Yeah,
It's been weird for him because he's had either, what I've noticed is he either goes off in a game or he's non-existent.
yeah. There's
There's just
no in between. There's
yeah,
not. It's not consistent.
there's not like, I don't know, you're not like Jamar Chase, who even when he's not playing
His
well,
presence.
it's still like he has 6 catches and maybe 50 yards,
Yeah,
and you still notice him. I feel like when Marvin Harrison's not playing well, he's he's just not on the field. Like it feels like he's not on the field.
yeah.
So I don't know
No,
if
I
that's like a rookie thing right now or if that's something else. Um, but I do think he's kind of the he's currently looking like the I don't want to say bust of the draft because it's way too early, but he's starting to look like one of the more disappointing
looks like he wasn't quite worth
where they took him.
draft pick height.
He's one of the more disappointing picks so
Yeah.
far. I think a good way to put it. But you know, who knows? He could
Can
turn it on
Nope.
next year, and
Yeah, I mean, I also think like, okay, this isn't a I feel like Kyler's that guy though. That's like, I'm not going to give you the ball just because you're on the team. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he wants him to earn it. Like, it's this weird because he said that we had that conversation. I think after week 1 or 2,
weeks ago,
Kyler was like, "It's not my job to get you the ball." I was like, "Bro, I don't know whose job you think it is, like, or what. Like, your job is to get your wide receivers the ball." But he seems very intent, and I felt like he was the same way with Hollywood Brown. He's very intent on getting it to the guys he knows. So you give him a full season, an off season, let him spend time with you, show him that you're going to work, and then he'll throw you the ball.
yeah, who knows? Who knows?
So,
But yeah,
yeah.
overall, game of the week.
Yeah, game of the week was Sunday night football. Eagles at Rams. I'm gonna start with the Rams because that will be short. They are the Rams right now. It's not honestly. There's not much to say. It
Yeah,
doesn't look good. No part of this game looks good. I think Sean McVay is a good coach. I think Matt Stafford is a good quarterback. I think he has good weapons. There's a complete disconnect though. They hit the field and it looks like a crap show.
yeah.
Like
I don't know what
defensively,
happened.
it was just non-existent. Offensively, like the Eagles have been a great team. I just expect more competition. I feel like we put so much stock into the Rams Super Bowl. It was a good Super Bowl. They earned it. They fought hard for it. But ever since then, it's like when are they going to get back to this caliber of a team? Maybe you don't make another Super Bowl run, but you're an elite team in the NFC. And I feel like we keep waiting for it and waiting for it. And then last year they went on that late season run and we thought, okay, maybe it's just not it. It's not. They've had a lot of injuries, I know, but they're mostly healthy at this point. He has all of his weapons. I guess I expect it to look better than it has. And That was
Yeah.
epitomized Sunday night. Eagles. Saquon Barkley is making this team.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't care what anybody else is doing. I don't give a rat's ass. Um, Obviously with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, it helps when Devonta was out. It, Saquon didn't quite have the games he was having, but the more weapons you have, the more spread out the defense is. But Saquon is single-handedly winning and willing this team to wins. I have opinions on Jalen Hurts. I think I've been clear on them. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's elite. I think he is very weapons and coordinator dependent. Um, and that's fine, but that's good, not great. This roster, though, is a monster. And what Saquon is doing with that O line has been sh- just short of magnificent, quite frankly. Um,
So
he's
see,
on pace to beat the all-time season record. He beat on Sunday night the Eagles' all-time rushing game record.
see, if it
It's been
wasn't for
great.
last year, I would honestly have him probably as my MVP. But we've seen last year was, I think, as good as year as any to give an MVP to a non-quarterback,
Yeah.
and it was never going to happen. I do think this year's going to be relatively the same, even though I think currently, I think he is by far and away been the most impactful player for any team. Um,
So, absolutely agree with that. This is what I find interesting. Odds makers right now, it's Josh, Lamar, Saquon
yeah,
for MVP. Josh is because of the record he just beat Mahomes.
yep,
Lamar is because he's had the record he's had. And then Saquon is because of the season he's having. If I think next week, when the Ravens and the Eagles play, that's going to have a massive implication. Last year, it was between Lamar and then someone on the 49ers, whether you wanted to give it to McCaffrey or Purdy or what the argument was there. You and I both advocated it should have been McCaffrey's. But then when Lamar whooped the shit out of the 49ers, they were like, okay, well, it can't be them. So I think with the odds where they currently sit, depending on how next week's game goes against the Ravens and the Seahawks, I think that's going to have big implications. If it, say the Ravens win, if the Ravens can come atop their division, I think Lamar will. I think it's either Lamar takes it because of his win over Josh, or Josh takes it because goddamn the voters just want to give Josh an MVP. That's I'm not trying to take away from what he's done at any point in his career, but it's like every year we really want Josh to have it. We just don't have enough reason to give it to him. He always comes in like second or third. And then so I do. I think Sunday's game, Ravens Eagles, is gonna decide who comes in which order for those two at least.
fair enough, fair enough. Because yeah, I
Uh,
think that's where I'm at least with the Saquon thing.
I honestly I agree. I think he's having a hell of a year. Um I think you and I both said it that when he went to the Eagles, we were like, that's gonna be massive. Um I thought Christian McCaffrey esque. I think you did. Maybe you mildly disagreed with me. Or like, I think Christian McCaffrey's better. I don't feel the need to have the same argument they had on First Things First all week, so we're not going to do that. But I was prepared for this, but he's playing phenomenally.
I
To see this resurgence has been fantastic.
I knew he was good, and I was like, okay. obviously you play for the Giants, so your impact is significantly less than what I think you should be able to do. I just think over I don't want to say I always just thought he was so injury prone,
That's fair.
and now I'm starting to see that maybe that was also an issue with the Giants. Is you had to give him the ball so much, you had to rely on him so much, you had to, and we kind of saw the same thing with McCaffrey while he was with Carolina. Didn't see it last year with the 49ers, and this year was really weird.
Yeah.
His injury, the 49ers are weird with injuries right now. I don't know what's going on, but barring that,
So I was kind
I
of
was
thinking
kind of
about it.
expecting him to not be able to play the whole season.
No, and that's totally fair. I was kind of thinking about it because I was kind of watching it during the Ravens game. Because Derrick Henry runs up the middle, rarely does he go to the outside. When he runs up the middle and gets stopped in the pile, he's a lot slower to get up because you make contact with like 7 fucking people, right? Because you got your team trying to shove you, their team trying to tackle you. It's this whole collision of fucking bodies. When he's able to run through and like 2 or 3 guys are just jumping on him, he gets up really easily. So to bring it back, I think when you have McCaffrey and Saquon, who are smaller by far, when they don't have the running lanes open for them on weaker teams, and they're taking 7 guy hits every fucking time, but you're used at that rate, kind of no shit you have an injury problem.
Yeah, I just expected it. I didn't expect him to be able to last the whole season, and that's really where I was at.
And that's
He's not
fair.
only done that, he's been again incredible the whole season. I feel bad for Giants fans, kind of, only moderately.
I
To have to,
mean, you made a choice.
I don't feel bad for the Giants as an organization. I feel bad for
Yeah, I feel bad
fans
for fans. I feel bad for fans.
because I'm like, you're
Us,
having to watch Saquon.
especially because I kind of can't help but wonder how many fans agreed with Joe Shane of like, you know what, you paid Daniel, so yeah, let's try and get him some other help. Like, we don't need to pay Saquon that much. And now you're watching him and what he could have been, and you're like, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, I it will go down as probably one of the worst GM moments of all time, and it is just,
Because it's well documented.
and
It's not even
really the
just,
issue. It's the whole world
yeah. If it had just been this move,
watched.
and you'd have been like, look, we couldn't come to an agreement on price. Okay. Okay. Bummer, but okay, that happens. Maybe it was Saquon. Maybe it was the Giants. We don't really know. We watched it happen.
Yeah,
And we know who's to blame, how it happened, what you said, the stupid shit that done came out your mouth.
that's really
And
where I think
like
it.
that's where it bit him in the ass.
Yeah, because we've seen some, and I will say it's probably one of the best free agent signings made by a team in a long time. In
I
terms
thought
of like,
it's great. It's great.
I think this
And
year it's clear that the two best have been him and Henry, and it's not even close.
so it's really interesting. Um I'm gonna fuck up the thing. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. The previous employers of Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs surveyed the landscape and decided not to prioritize keeping alpha running backs. They now rank 1, 2, and 3 among NFL rushing leaders for teams that are collectively 24 and 9. The teams that let them walk away are collectively 7 and 26.
Jesus Christ, that's rough. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Obviously, the Raiders suck, the Titans
I
suck, and the Giants suck. So,
I think there's one more that needs to be added to that statement, and it's Joe Mixon.
yes. Yes.
Now his team isn't having quite the same resurgence, but they have a massive O-line problem.
Yes.
But they play a lot better when he's on the field. And I can assure you, Joe Burrow would love a fucking competent running back to help him.
Yeah.
So throwing the ball 50 times for 1,000 yards and 4 billion touchdowns, and he's like still lost.
I'm
Still
just
lost.
really, really hopeful that Seattle doesn't do what the Giants did.
I think
Because,
you have the benefit of McDonald, who has watched a team compete at a high level with running backs for a long time.
because I'm looking at it. They have to pay Walker this year, and they technically have to pay Gino this year. And I swear to
Yeah, but
God,
Gino's probably going to get closer to like a Baker Goff kind of thing.
I don't care. You still have to make a decision. Kind of.
I think you can pay both.
I think you can pay.
I think you
Well,
can pay both.
you can't because there's somebody else that also needs a contract this year.
If the fucking Eagles can pay everybody, the Seahawks can.
I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know what,
I
but
the Eagles and the Niners. The Eagles at least have like they have a quarterback on their
the
fucking payroll.
Seahawks need to pay DK. I think they might have another year left.
I thought he just got a contract.
He's up at the end of this year, or he has no guaranteed money at the end of this year.
Okay, well then yeah, that's going to be a problem.
And he's one that they need back because if you don't re-sign him, Tyler Lockett's retiring at the end of the year. You then have one wide receiver that is good, and then you have Jake Bobo as your number two. So then you draft one, but now we're seeing Marvin Harrison, who was everyone's surefire best talent, has
Yeah,
struggled. So drafting one isn't even a.
guarantee.
So I'm like, the Seahawks are staring down the barrel of a rough go of it.
That's
Because yeah,
fair.
they have to pay Walker, they have to pay. The issue is the Seahawks have had great draft classes the past couple of years. The problem with that is that everybody in those great draft classes
Now everybody wants to get paid.
are getting paid at the same time. So we have an offensive tackle that needs paid. We have running backs that need paid. We have defensive linemen that need paid.
Yeah.
We have corners. You have like the big ticket positions currently coming down the track. But this isn't about Seattle. This is about the Eagles.
That's all right. We're just talking. We're just talking. We're free flowing.
Hoping
Our
that, yeah.
fucking my fucking preview video had 65 views. I think the free flowing's working for us. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. I don't
Dude,
know what drugs people are taking, but I'm here for it.
I
I'm
looked
just
at it
talking.
this morning,
It's crazy.
saw it, and went,
I
I
was
must still
looking
be
at it to
asleep.
try and find the name of the fucking commenter so I could shout out, and I was like, "What the shit?" The
I
video's been up like 2 days.
I want to say it. The commenter, by the way, had something to do with the Raven.
It did. I found it.
Oh, okay.
I'll give it when it. We'll come back around. Um, but yeah, we're just free flowing. Eagles, I have questions about this team. I'm not gonna deny that. I think they've played really well. Saquon has been fantastic. They have not played a great team. Now,
No,
I'm hesitant to call the Ravens a great team. They do have some glaring issues. But for all accounts, I do think next week will show where the Eagles really sit.
fair enough. Fair
The
enough.
thing I found interesting because this is Lamar is 22-1 in the NFC. The only quarterback to beat him is Daniel fucking Jones. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The
Shitty
Eagles,
quarterback.
yeah, like one of the worst in the
No,
NFC.
no, let's talk about Lamar. How do you lose to Daniel
No,
Jones?
it was not his fault. That was a weird one of like they were up 30 points in the fourth quarter and the defense went, what if we just lay down?
The
What if we
offense
just
could
stopped?
also score points. That doesn't
Look,
exist.
man, you should be able to put 35 points and that fucking be okay. So, anyway, he plays really well against the NFC, obviously.
Yes.
But the Eagles, low key, are the Ravens.
Yeah.
Their quarterbacks are similar. Lamar is better, but they're similar. You have an elite running back, good wide receivers, and then the Eagles' defense is better.
Eagles defense is better. The Eagles offensive line is,
It's far and away better.
I was like, hands
Far and away.
down. And that's without Kelsey.
But Lamar's a better quarterback. So Lamar can compensate a little better. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So I just think next week will be very telling for both teams, but I think more for the Eagles
I do
and
think.
how they compete against this team. Because the thing I find interesting, and I thought this about the Chargers, when you do something really well offensively, it's weird to me that you don't defend against it really well. The Ravens are the I think number 2 now. The Eagles are number 1. But the number 2 rushing team in the NFL.
Yeah.
So they are the number 1 rushing defense. They're like, we know what great running looks like. So you do not run on us. So the Chargers, as an elite rushing team, I'm confused how you're not an elite rushing defense. The Eagles are a good rushing team, but a great pass defense. So I just think, based off what I saw, obviously I'll get into it more with my preview video, but Eagles at Rams, it wasn't even close. It wasn't a contest. 17-point difference wasn't the story. The story was the Rams are not good.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have proven they are a contender. I still have questions about Sirianni, and I still think Jalen Hurts is like middle of the pack. That
Yeah.
game did not change that. I do think that Saquon should be MVP favorite. I agree with the statement. I love Lamar. Lamar couldn't give a fuck about MVP. I would rather he get a Super Bowl. He's doing something historic.
Yeah. Saquon's been, man.
Oh, and I guess on the historic thing, I would like to quickly comment. People keep wanting to compare this Ravens offense to the greatest show on turf. Numbers wise, they're actually really similar. Eye test though, it's not the same. Lamar is playing phenomenally. Henry is playing phenomenally. It is the greatest show right now. I would agree with that. The greatest show on turf though was something else.
But that was also
That
just a
was,
different era of football, guys. Like, come on.
yeah,
Come on.
like
It's like
it
comparing.
just was something else.
Okay, it's comparing this Steelers defense to the Steel Curtain. It's not the same. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's not you can't do that. You can't.
It's like
So
comparing.
I'm not saying the Ravens offense couldn't be historic, but I would just like that comparison to stop. It's not the same. It's not the same.
That's my biggest pet peeve. I hate when comparing things across eras of football or eras, period.
Yeah,
It's like comparing LeBron and Jordan. They played at very different times against.
the rules were different.
Yes.
Like NFL rules are geared for the offense to win. That's just That's how it is. You can't hurt the quarterback. You can't tackle the wide receiver. Pretty much without exceptional circumstances. like
Yeah, without them
it's
catching it.
it's a whole thing. All of the rules are designed for the offense to win. It's not the same. It's not the same.
So that would be my only. What
No,
are we doing? But
I think it's been crazy. It's been crazy.
whatever.
All right.
We compared Caleb Williams to Michael Jordan at one point this year. So I mean, like, can't
It's
get much worse
crazy.
than that.
That guy's got to feel stupid. Have you watched the Bears play recently? Not. It's getting better, but it's not been good.
Just sell the Bears.
Maybe try winning a game. So that's the goal of football. Amazingly enough. All right. Do you want to talk Broncos Raiders?
Yeah, because this game was boring, but sure.
Yeah. You picked it.
There was nothing else worthwhile. I think really the issue that this game was boring to me is the fact that Seattle was in a quote unquote dogfight in a way of like at one point that game was close. At the half that game was close. It kind of got out of hand towards the second half in terms of Seattle dominating in terms of possession and stuff, not score, possession. But either way, Broncos I feel like just dominated this whole game. They won 29-19. Wasn't even close. Wasn't at all in question. Um, just dominated. Minshew did get hurt, broke his collarbone, is done for the season. That didn't help the Raiders situation.
No.
But yeah, the Broncos I think just kind of killed them, and Bo Nix has continued to look pretty solid. This wasn't his best game, wasn't his worst. Was definitely just there. How I felt about this game is it was on. It happened. It was played. The team showed up. They got off the
Both teams
bus.
were on the field.
Yeah, like
I
um
I feel
the Raiders
Nick
defense did play better than they had. Uh Crosby continues to kind of be
Max Crosby.
yeah,
Yeah.
but other than that, Broncos defense still one of the best, and that offense is kind of starting to figure it out. They're getting there. Broncos are a team to kind of watch in the future.
I
Kind of where
think
we're at.
Nick is clearly offensive rookie of the year. At least in terms of quarterbacks. Because Jaden did this.
So I had a take.
And then Williams did.
Yeah, I have a take.
And then Drake is just trying to survive.
Yeah, Drake's just trying not to die in the backfield.
So.
But I
But
do have
Nick's
a
has just
take
made
on Jaden Daniels.
steady progress. Give the take. Give the take.
I think Jaden Daniels is only in that conversation because of the Hail Mary. At this point,
He was in it beforehand.
he was in it beforehand, but at the same time, no one else was.
That's kind of what I think. I think Jaden has played well, don't get me wrong. He
But
was playing well. But nobody else was really in it. So it was like, well, obviously it's Jaden. Now it's not going so great. Which there are questions about Cliff Kingsbury late in season. He's a rookie. He had the rib injury. But
and
it is
yet
normal
the
for rookies to struggle.
and yet at the same time, I look at it, and that team still probably should have at least made it to overtime.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk about that
So
game right now. Let's do it.
So I do want to have. I had a thing. The announcer during that game, I don't know their name. I don't know the announcers for Washington or Dallas.
Or who was doing it that day?
Yeah, but they were like, the Commanders' offense seemed to find itself way too fucking late.
Oh
Way
yeah,
too fucking late.
yeah. The fourth
Like,
quarter was when there was 4 touchdowns in the last,
yeah, it
like,
was crazy.
5 minutes?
It was crazy. It was like the fucking Chargers Viking or nope, Ravens Viking game like years ago. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
But I have so this is probably the single worst game for a special teams on the planet. Both sides sucked. There was blocked field goals, blocked punts, everything.
Onside kicks were recovered.
2 kick return touchdowns. Just and then at the end of the game, that missed PAT. So let's start with the Commanders, who I thought again that offense sucked for like 90% of the game,
Yeah,
but then were fantastic for that last like 10%,
5-10 minutes. Yeah,
where they actually brought it close and should have tied it. And the Cowboys, God, they suck. Like, you won, but you suck.
so here's the thing. I felt like I have never watched a team
Try to
make
lose
at every turn the worst decisions possible while fighting so hard to win.
because
like
okay,
you could see it. They wanted it. But at every chance to do the positive thing, they just fucked it up.
okay. First of all, how you let Terry McLaurin? You drop 9 guys in cover. You rush 3 people. You drop 9 guys in coverage. Terry McLaurin catches this thing at the 40. If you tackle him in bounds,
Game
it's
over.
game over. It ends. He somehow avoids 9 tacklers who are all back there in coverage to score. Okay?
Yeah.
You know how hard that is to fuck up if you're the Cowboys?
The one that gets me is the onside kick.
Yeah, and that's next.
Catch it, go down.
Just fall.
That
Just
motherfucker's like, the team's like, bro, they just did this to us. Who says they won't do it again? What?
every every part
And
of
then they
me,
did it.
every
And
part
I
of
was
me wanted the
like,
Commanders to score a touchdown. Every part of me.
I was like, the Cowboys are so excited to be in a game
Like, I don't know how
and are intent on losing it.
like, and what's better is this dude's all excited and he gets the sideline and is like, what?
Yeah, the whole
Celebrates.
team's excited. Like he's excited, and McCarthy's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got a touchdown." He's like, "No, you fucking fall, hit the ground, game over, we win, bye." And he's like, "I got a touchdown."
That decision, and it was the decision that I was like,
No, it was.
why?
I've never seen a team try so hard
I
to
mean,
lose and win at the same time. It was the weirdest shit.
because seriously, all you had to do was catch it and then fall to the ground, and the game's
Yeah.
over.
Tackle McLaurin, game over.
Push McLaurin out of
Inbound.
bounds. Even if you pushed him out of bounds, I would still say the likelihood they then got a touchdown is
Yeah.
significantly less. Do
When they haven't been doing great.
something. Do anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
It it was crazy. It was I will say this. Hold on.
God, turn your fucking phone off, God. How dare you have your phone go off in the middle of the podcast?
Sorry.
Not that
It's
I've
my
had it.
accountant.
I was like, not that I've done that before.
Uh, anyway, so I just I'm not saying any team should tank or whatever for your draft pick. At the end of the day, players want to win. I just felt like it was like everything the Cowboys have ever been criticized for. Not giving 100% effort, weird game
Just
time decisions, weird clock management, all the bullshit that you've ever said about the Cowboys accumulated into this one game that we fought really hard to win.
and yet still almost lost.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was kind of insane. It was. I'm kind of surprised they didn't, to be honest with you. If I'm the Commanders, I'm very disappointed in ourselves. You should not have lost that game.
If you're the Commanders, you take a hard fucking look in the mirror at your training, at your practice, at your playbook, all of it. Because the Cowboys are not a good team. I don't care that it's in division, okay? Because I get that I just went on a whole thing. But you have been playing well, and Cowboys have been crap all year. To have that kind of resurgence again with a team that was trying to lose that game,
Yeah,
you gotta fucking do something.
it was definitely interesting. Um,
It was the craziest shit. It was the craziest. I thought it was the craziest thing that happened all weekend. I was like,
it
what in
definitely
God's heck?
that game was definitely the craziest thing that happened all weekend. There are a couple more games I want to talk about.
If the Chiefs had lost, that would have been
I don't that game I would have talked
fantastic.
about had they lost. They didn't because, of course, they didn't because they
Yeah,
have somehow the
came
magic
so
to not.
close. All right,
But I want to talk about the Giants versus the Bucks because you made the decision to cut and bench Daniel Jones. Okay,
yeah,
fair enough, whatever. You made the decision to start Tommy
Tommy
DeVito.
DeVito.
Okay, whatever. I think Drew Lock should start because I like Drew Lock. I think he is that
I think
guy.
he could have gotten you more than 7 points. Definitely think.
Um, even that 7, I think, was a miracle that they got it, and I kind of just think the Bucks felt sorry and were like,
Do you want a
guys,
touchdown?
please just. And I've also decided this will go into my next game. There's like there are like 3 quarterbacks in the league that I just love with my whole heart and are
Okay.
just fantastic as people and as quarterbacks. Maybe not as quarterbacks. One of them is kind of a stretch. But Baker
Okay.
Mayfield is just the
His
epitome.
fucking pick was like,
Because
what are you doing?
there were 2 moments in the game where I'm like, oh my god, this dude. One of them was the fumble that no one on the
Oh
field.
yeah.
There's a Giants player that's at his feet and he kicks it. And he's just standing there. And all of a sudden, you just see Baker Mayfield
Hmm.
just, it's mine. I'm like, all right, Baker's there to win.
Yeah.
He's not going to pull a Cam Newton. He's going to jump on the football. Then, I mean, come on. How do you not love a guy jump into the end zone, get hit backwards, fall, and then hit the Tommy DeVito celly on
Yeah.
Tommy DeVito? It was just perfect.
I I feel like now that so Baker had sass in Cleveland,
Yeah.
but his production wasn't phenomenal, and I think there are other reasons for that. I don't think Baker takes sole blame. But he jumped around, matured a bit, the play got better. And now that he's in Tampa and the play's like good to great, depending on if he has his weapons, he's like, all right, I can bring the sass back, and I'm fucking loving it.
And then my second quarterback that I just love, and he's probably not the best quarterback ever, is Jameis Winston. Like, come on.
His podium, his post game podium.
How his
That
pregame,
shit.
his postgame, how do you just not love this man? In terms of,
I agree.
he just goes out there and has fun. And then, I will say, I'm really excited for Hard Knocks because they've kind of released some of the footage. That
I'm so
snow,
excited.
because they had the, like, angle from the back of the end zone of his rushing touchdown to take the lead.
Mhm.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, the snowfall, the slow-mo, it
And you
was
like
just,
can't. I mean, look, I don't think the weather. I think the weather is an excuse for a Florida team or a dome team
I don't think the
because
weather,
you're not like okay, you have to be able to play in it, but when you lose as the media, it's I can get going the weather. They were at the disadvantage. Sure, technically. It's a winter fucking sport. It's an outdoor sport. Figure it out.
I just think the weather should never be an excuse because both teams had to
Oh,
play in it.
agreed. Completely agreed. So for Steelers Browns, I'm like, you're one of you's from Pittsburgh? It snows just as much there. It's just as cold. It's not any different. Both teams played in it. I do think Pittsburgh picked the wrong fucking color uniforms to wear.
The, I,
Because there was a
yeah,
moment watching the game on TV, I was like, bro, I can't see y'all.
I think the difference is Jameis Winston went into it like, I get to play in the snow,
Yeah,
versus the Pittsburgh went into it going, we have to
fuck
play.
us.
Yeah.
I
But,
think
and then,
I think that's Jameis as a quarterback. Is
yeah,
he approaches it like I get to play football. I get to come out here with my guys and win or lose, we're gonna have fucking fun.
yeah.
Cause I get to play. And I'm playing with house money. Whether I'm named a starter ever again, no idea. But I'm gonna enjoy every minute I get.
And it was incredible. And then I just find it hilarious that he then, with the battery to the headset that's in their helmets, dangling from his helmet, throws the 2 point conversion. And it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever.
He's like, we're good.
But
He
yeah,
is the most I think he's like the one of the freest quarterbacks. Like, he just doesn't. He's like, I'm just having fun. It doesn't I lost a starting job years ago. Either I get one or I don't. I'm just having fun.
yeah.
I think he's great. He brings this energy. And then his post game press conference was fantastic. He's talking about the snow. He sounds like a little kid on Christmas.
I don't know if you saw, but on Thursday night they have that like panel of Sherman, Whitworth, Fitzpatrick,
Yeah.
and Tony Gonzalez,
Yeah.
and they'll always interview at least one player after the game. During the interview, he got them all to go onto the field and do snow angels. I'm like,
I
how do
did
you?
not see
Yeah,
that. I went to bed.
he literally got all four of them to go onto the field and all do snow angels at the end of the fucking interview. Like, how do you not? How do you not like him? Like, he just exudes joy when he plays football,
Yeah.
and it's fun. He's
It's
not the
great to
best.
watch.
He's not the best
It's
quarterback, but
no. But that's okay.
no matter what, he's entertaining. I'll put it that way, because he's either gonna throw for 500 yards and like 8 touchdowns, or he's gonna throw 5 interceptions,
Yeah.
and it just kind of depends on the day.
And he's just gonna have fun doing it regardless.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't give a fuck.
See, that's how I
So
would want to play backup quarterback in the NFL.
yeah. I think that's I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that's how you have to play it. To keep a job. Because if you're too serious, it's like maybe calm the hell down.
The only way I think the 2 series works is if you have a chance to truly take over one day.
So here's my thing. I don't disagree with the point, but then you look at, okay, like the Giants situation.
Yeah,
The likelihood you get bench, you don't get to start because of money or like 101 reasons come up that you'll never get to start.
and he's my third. He just hasn't been able to play. It's odd.
Like,
Like Drew Lock is one of my favorite.
yeah, there is not a better hype man, I think, in the NFL. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I feel really bad for him. I feel really bad for him.
I'm annoyed.
That guy brings so much energy to a sideline into his team, and he has never been the woe is me, what about my shot? He's never been that guy. He has always been a team guy.
And
I'm pissed. I'm pissed. He went to New York because he was told he would get a shot to start.
yeah,
That time has come and they went, "Oh, never mind."
and there hasn't been. He just hasn't been
And
given the chance.
obviously, Tommy DeVito
Was
is
great,
not the
guys.
fucking answer.
That's my issue. That's been my issue. Is DeVito
Yeah,
isn't the answer. Why are you? Why? Why?
to draft number one.
That doesn't help you.
I don't disagree. I think I'm pissed. I think it's bullshit. I like it's false advertising.
Yeah,
Like that's why he left Seattle for that reason. He wouldn't have left if you if
I
you
don't.
hadn't said shit.
I don't think he. Mm, he might not have. He might have taken less to be the backup.
I think he'd have taken less to stay in Seattle, but he went somewhere he thought he'd get the chance to start.
Yeah, it he's one. I feel bad, and unfortunately, he's running out of time
Yeah,
because the team needs to give him a shot. He unfortunately just never got one with Seattle because Gino was comeback player of the year and revived his career. Um, he had 2 games with Seattle, 3 games with Seattle, won one of them.
that's not enough time. Like,
You started in 2 of them, came in relief in one of them. Coming in relief as a backup quarterback's the worst. That I never.
yeah,
I'm like,
you
you had to,
never expect that guy to win.
and then you had to play San Francisco on the road, who you couldn't beat regardless. Seattle hasn't beat couldn't beat San Francisco for years. Finally did it this
Yeah,
year, but that's a whole different thing. And then you had to go play the Eagles on Monday Night Football, and you got the win.
like I don't know what more you want from a guy.
I
Yeah,
think a team will give him a chance.
I don't know.
If I'm
Like
him,
he's
I'm
running out of time.
if I'm him, I'm getting the fuck out of New York.
And it's shitty, but like Baker every year had games on tape to show people. Locks running out of film.
Yeah, or to a point, he has to.
Like someone's got to take that shot now. And I thought he'd get it. And I thought New York was great. Day ball, probably get a quarter of the season, show what you can do, put that on film, and then one of these teams entering this year's draft that need a quarterback, but maybe don't have a super high pick. It's not a great quarterback draft class. You're going to get your shot. And it's been ripped away from him.
I think the best. I hate to say this. Best case scenario for him is you leave. You get the fuck out of New York, and you go to like the Rams, or you go somewhere like that where you
Or
still.
you go somewhere that is going to draft a rookie.
I don't even know if you go there.
I think there you have the potential to get 5, 6, 7 starts put some film on some tape out there.
So you saying like the Raiders
Yeah,
or um I don't even know who needs a quarterback right now. I'm gonna be honest. It's been rough.
I think Saints, but that's a whole
Raiders,
problem.
you don't go there.
Um,
Browns, possibly.
yeah,
But they already have Jameis, so you don't want to go there.
and DTR. I don't think they're moving off. Um, no. Yeah,
Unless
I think maybe a situation like that.
see, unfortunately, yeah, your best bet is to then stay in New York because they need a quarterback. But I wouldn't stay there because they're treated you like a fucking dick.
Yeah,
Like,
or I'd change up my fucking incentive program because goddamn.
yeah, but it's just a shitty situation for Locke.
You know where I think he should go, and he won't, because you're never gonna win that starting job. But I think you would just pair super well with is the Chargers. Could you imagine him and Jim Harbaugh on a fucking sideline together?
See, we've already seen him and Pete Carroll on a sideline together,
I know exactly, exactly.
and I feel like Harbaugh has more energy than Pete
That's
did.
what I'm saying. It's crazy. That would be so fun. That would be so fun.
Oh my god, I feel like
It's
that's
like
just a bit
so.
too much.
I think Herbert would get scared.
I think Herbert's already
Herbert would be
like,
like, "What the fuck?"
I think Herbert's already like, yo,
It's uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes you're watching the two of them interact, and they are not the same. And Herbert's like, "Can we calm down? Is that possible?"
like I just remember the like video of him like smacking the pads, and I'm like,
Oh yeah,
Herbert,
and Herbert's just like, "What the hell is happening?
Herbert's there, like I just wanna,
Does this end?"
can I just go take the field now?
Yeah, but
So I think that's too much, especially because I think they're both on the same side of the ball in a way, like
yeah, because he's
kind
an
of,
offensive coach.
yeah. So I'm like, well, at least with Pete, he was defense, so you could be like, kind of avoid that.
Yeah,
But having both of them would be, it's a lot. I think that would be fun for like a Jameis Winston type quarterback to be in. Like if you had
yeah,
Locke, Winston, and Harbaugh, I think that would be interesting.
that's that's a fucking party right there.
Yeah, throw Baker Mayfield in it just for fun.
Like that's an energetic fucking group right there.
No, that right now, that there, that's too much. That's someone's getting killed.
But yeah, just because the rest of the team's like, "Oh my god, what the fuck are they doing?"
Yeah, you have like the D lineman going.
That's like the third delay of game penalty because we can't just calm the fuck down.
The offensive line's just sitting there like
We're
some
gonna
time
somebody
today.
somebody come play quarterback. No, that's crazy. But yeah, I just do. I just it's shitty, but I still think next year, depending on what they do, his best chance to start is New York.
Yeah, I think it's New York. You're not going to start if you go to the Rams, but I think
Maybe you get a shot
there's
because
no way. There's like
Stafford is so
injury pro like, and that's you're with McVay. Like it's just
yeah,
an ideal landing spot for any quarterback. But I think they'll draft one. I think this is like the perfect draft for the Rams to get a quarterback. Unfortunately,
yeah.
because again, it's just not a loaded class.
Like it's a good class, but they're not high draft pick. Like they're developmental guys.
That's my point. Is you want a Stafford. You want somebody that is there so that you can just stash them. You can do
Yeah,
the Falcons Michael Penix idea. dash him on this roster for a year, and then they'll
Let him
take over.
learn. Let him, yeah,
But
let him develop.
we'll see. Because this draft is just going to be this draft as a whole is really not exciting. There's like 3 people that I'm like, they're going to be good. And then the rest of them, I'm like, you could be good?
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, possibly. Who knows?
I think this is one. It's just not really a skill position loaded draft.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
you'll see more linemen,
Yeah.
but
It's not,
like
and I'm saying this
quarterbacks aren't very high. Wide receivers are,
compared to previous years, this is a very weak class.
yeah.
But that's not saying a lot because the last couple years it's been.
So it's just going to be interesting how teams navigate this year
I'm excited.
and what we choose to draft.
I'm excited for the draft. I think this might be a fun one. It could be really fun or just boring.
That's fair.
Because it's either going to be one that you have a lot of shakeup and things go very differently than what it's expected, or it goes exactly.
So yeah, I feel like there could be a lot of movement at the top because there isn't an elite. So what do you want?
Yeah,
Do you have the ability to trade back, or again, is it we all just stay put because there's nothing
and like
anyone wants to trade up for?
there's like 2 people that I see that the NFL trading up for. And I'll be honest, I don't think the people that could pick there trade back. They have
Yeah,
no reason to, like, at all. Especially because right now it's Jacksonville first, and they don't need a quarterback.
no,
So they're taking best available, which just happens to be the position they need the most.
yeah.
So it'll definitely be interesting. That's assuming he decides to declare. He has not declared yet, I don't think. He might have.
Thought he had, but
I know Shador did, but I don't remember.
um, any other thoughts on this week?
No, it was
Any
a
other games? I had two
okay.
that I wanted to. One, I felt like Brock Purdy's stock went up after this week.
Well, yeah,
Um, I know they were still missing pieces, and that plays a factor. But when you get your fucking ass handed to you like that, when you get straight up embarrassed without your starting quarterback, I know everyone thinks it's the whole team and it's Kyle Shanahan and it's all these things. It's also it's Brock Purdy too. And I think this game far and away proves that. Like if
well,
you have questions still,
here's the issue.
I'm confused.
I kind of do because they didn't have Brock Purdy, they didn't have Trent Williams, and they didn't have Nick Bosa.
They got their ass kicked.
Yeah,
But here's the thing: Purdy has been missing pieces all year. Still hadn't lost that bad.
yeah. No, I'm not saying that it's not just Purdy.
Like,
I'm just saying.
no, here's the thing. The Niners are just not okay right now.
No,
Like, it's not been a good year. I think there's a better than not chance they miss the playoffs. Yeah, you're super giddy.
I'm gonna
But
control my excitement because fuck them. You would feel the same way if the Steelers sucked. Okay, I don't want to hear it.
the Steelers do suck.
Their
Just,
record suggests otherwise.
well, sometimes your record is not who you are.
Uh huh.
It's one of those takes that's gonna be right eventually. You just gotta wait and see.
Yep.
Just gotta wait and see.
Oh, yep.
But it's
Sure.
not good. But I do think that Purdy's stock went up. So that was
Well, yeah.
point number one. Point number two. I feel like the Dolphins are in this really weird space right now. We have a terrible record. We could still make the playoffs because we have a very easy schedule. And since he's been back, they've been playing well.
Yes. Yes.
So I think the Dolphins, like of all the movement that can happen in the AFC for in the hunt, are the most interesting team to keep an eye on right now.
Yeah. The Dolphins are a weird one. They're definitely a weird one.
So, all right, well, with Dolphins talk, do we want to move on to next week
Yeah.
and our games of the week? Brendan, you want to kick us
So,
off?
yeah, because I have Seahawks at Jets, 10 a.m. We'll talk more about the game for the preview. Um,
On with that.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why the Jets suck, but I think it's when we go up against terrible teams that I feel the most unease. Cause
That's fair. Well, because like if when you lose to a terrible team, you're just like, my God, are we that bad?
yeah,
But when it's a good team, you're like, if we lose, that's respectable.
and that's how I feel going in.
Like I have to live with the loss to the Raiders. I have to live with that. I can justify it, but I have to live with that.
And that's how I feel about the Jets. Is I might have to,
That's fair.
because there's something about this game. I just feel like it's going too well for the Seahawks right now. I feel too
Okay.
happy, and I just know they're gonna do something that's just gonna snatch that from me. And there have been issues that I think could come into play. Who knows? The Jets are a dumpster fire, so maybe it's just easy. I don't know.
Fired more people, and they don't seem to know who they want to be their quarterback.
Which what I've heard today is he's not going anywhere, and he plans to stay, and he's
I feel
no.
like we're using the media to have the weirdest breakup on the planet.
Okay,
Is like the world knows you don't belong together. So the world's like, y'all are gonna move on, right? And you're like, yeah, of course. And then you realize that that article got published. So now we're like, oh no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're super happy. We're gonna figure it out. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
because yeah,
He
he
is not a starting quarterback anymore. I don't care if you bench him. Season's lost. Doesn't fucking matter.
but yeah,
But he
that's what
can't be your starter next year. He shouldn't even be in the building.
yeah.
He's toxic as fuck.
I just retire.
Like,
Just call it. Just call
go
it a career.
away. Go away. And let them get another quarterback because I think he's one. Okay. When Cam Newton left the Patriots, it was Cam was like, I think it's my presence. Like I'm just too much of a presence in the locker room for them to hand the reins to Mac Jones. At the time I was like, I think Cam's a little full of himself. But I didn't disagree with the fundamental point. I think that's the case here, but in a toxic way. How can a new quarterback step in and take command of that locker room with the looming presence of Aaron Rodgers?
So if I'm the next GM and the next coach, I'm cutting him and telling him to go have a nice day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not dealing with that.
As a coach, I'm not taking the job if I have to deal with him.
If I'm the GM, I'm not
I'm
taking
not.
the job.
Like, he got the last ones fired. Whether he talked to somebody or it was his play, his presence got them fired. Not fucking doing it. Not doing it.
So we'll talk more about the Jets on the preview. Um, and then for my game of the week, it's Thanksgiving. I kind of want to
Yeah.
pick a Thursday night game. Um, this to me was the most exciting of the games, so I went Miami at Green Bay Thursday night football. So should be a good one. Miami is starting to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
so hopefully their record is wrong, and they'll play better. And then Green Bay has been a pretty solid team. And Seattle
And
does play Green Bay in like 2 weeks. So
it'll be cold. So we'll see if Tua and the Dolphins
yeah.
can survive the cold and if they'll be ready for playoff time.
And then Seahawks
So
play Green Bay in like 2 weeks. The reason I didn't do the team we play next is because it's the Cardinals again.
it's fair. I refused to pick that team in that game, and I'll get into that.
Okay.
So for me, next week, Ravens versus Eagles. That is at home at 1:25 p.m. Pacific time, 4:25 Eastern time. After that week, the Ravens are on bye, and then they start their stretch of hell. It's 3 games in 10 days. Super shitty. But they play the Giants coming out of the bye. The Giants play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. That game will be on.
Yep.
I will technically watch it. I am not going to devote any type of mental energy to that game. I can't do it. I won't do it. I refuse. You can't make me.
As America, we
So,
should not put that game on
yeah.
Thursday night.
So, I'm not doing it. That's just all there is to it. It's not happening. Nobody can make me. I am gonna watch Pittsburgh at Cincinnati at 10 a.m. on Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's a division game. I would really like Pittsburgh to lose. That would really. It would just flip the standings. It would help that situation. I need the Ravens to win and the Steelers to lose. So, and then I think I would just it would elevate my vindication about the Ravens loss to Pittsburgh. It would just so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. It's relevant to the team. It's not. No, it's not who they play next. I might watch the Giants game the week the Ravens are on bye, but they play New Orleans, and that sounds even more depressing. So
God.
I can tell you, I will not spend my Thanksgiving though watching Giants and Cowboys. It's not happening. It's
No,
not. I'm not doing it.
I'll spend my Thanksgiving watching good football teams play.
Yeah.
Hence the Detroit Lions, who I didn't pick because I don't remember who they play now. But I was like, it's not going to be that good. They're probably going to steamroll the team they're playing. So I went with the other one.
Chicago.
Yeah.
So
As I said.
we might not watch a ton of Thanksgiving football.
No, I'll watch the Lions.
On the other hand, though, it's there just to kind of tick everybody else off in the house. Sometimes that's a benefit to watching football. Like, there are days where I'm like, I really don't care about this game, but I'm turning on for the principle of the matter.
Yeah. Hey.
Um,
It'll be on, and I'll be there.
So, but I can't dedicate mental energy to Giants and Cowboys. I can't do it.
Not when Cooper Rush is going against Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, like, what is that? How was that happening? That's crazy. That's crazy. I would prefer Chiefs Raiders. That's on Friday. No, yes, Drew Lock, but I'm not going to get that.
Drew Lock versus Trey Lance. That would be at least mildly entertaining. Something might happen.
He's a Cowboy. That's crazy. I keep forgetting that. I really do. God. At least then it'd be something interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
You could be like, hey, they all started new quarterbacks. It was crazy.
Wow.
Instead, we're
something happened in the game.
Making weird ass decisions and finding ways to win and lose at the same time. I don't even understand how you do that. I really don't.
I don't either.
Like folding a hand in Texas Hold'em, but then still winning. It's like, but you still had the best hand. But like, I quit at the beginning of the hand. No, but you win. Like, it shouldn't be possible, but that's what happened.
Or it's like bluffing your whole way, and you should lose. And they call you, and you win. It's like you just have it.
Yeah, like, it's weird shit. So, yeah, I can't do it.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm going to go Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, and
I'm
It has
going.
division implications, and
Hey,
Ravens play the Eagles. That should be a good game. It's an afternoon game, so I don't have to watch it at work.
that's cool. That's
So I'm kind of excited about that.
I have to be up at 10 a.m. to watch the Seahawks and the Jets because, of course, I do. Yeah, it's East Coast.
Yeah.
Don't get the
Nope.
luxury of the afternoon game.
So yeah, you're gonna watch Seahawks at Jets, Miami at Green Bay. I got Ravens, Eagles, and Pittsburgh at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And to all of our viewers, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have a good holiday. Whatever your situation may be, family, friends, maybe you just want to sit in your room by yourself and eat a turkey leg, because I'm going to be honest with you, I could relate to that. I would 10 out of 10 do that.
Yeah.
Just me and my dog in my room. Not going to. Guys, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Shout out to Ravens fan 5299 for commenting, asking us about Ravens rookies. Like I said, O-line's doing great. Wiggins is getting involved. Everybody else, we haven't really seen a whole ton. Hopefully, we see more of them. But the Ravens are good at developing. So if we don't see them now, we will.
And Seahawks fans, where are we at? Can't
Yeah.
get. What's going on, guys? Come on. Can't be getting beat here. What are we doing? There are
So
bragging
yeah.
rights on the table.
So yeah, definitely hit us up in the comments. We're loving it. We'll make sure if we get more, we'll start putting in a comment section. Make sure we respond to you guys at least in video. And yeah, make sure you subscribe so you know when all of our preview videos come out, our normal videos, and I promise we're gonna do clips one of these days. Any day now, that's gonna happen. But in the meantime, just keep tuning in. So as always, I've been Dallas, repping a new number 52.
I've been Brendan. See ya.